And, I think that this work across the country is just so important. It's so essential, right? Because like you said earlier, the average person kind of needs steps, right? What are some actionable items that they can put in place to really help combat hate and use their voice to combat violence? So you spoke on it a little bit earlier, but if someone was interested in starting a Not in Our Town group, where would they even begin? I know there's resources on the website, but kind of what are the first steps for that?
I think you get a group of, when I say like-minded, I don't necessarily mean like-minded. Like, get a group of people who you think or might share this interest. So I love this story. This is like a perfect example of how a group gets started. It's a young woman. She's South Asian. She moved to this town in New Jersey, and she saw she felt bullied in her school. She saw racism in her school and her community, and she just didn't know what to do. She felt it was a community-wide problem, not just in our school. And so she read the instructions on the site, and she found this woman who was a former mayor of the town, and she saw her at a town meeting. She went up to her and she said, "I want to talk to you about Not in Our Town." And so these two women became leaders in forming a Not in Our Town group. These two unlikely allies, right? So they're just, I think it's like she understood that she needed another powerful ally who had access to, like, where's the power source in this town and how can we move this together? And, so they started this, and they started talking to other clergy and to some parent groups. And so they pulled together some folks. They did the 5-minute version of Billings to say, okay, this is what it is, right? And if you look at the Billings story, I mean, it's really hard to be against that, honestly, right? I mean, you could be politically, you could have a lot of different opinions, but to be against that basic story of standing up to white supremacists, organizing in your town and intimidating people and harming them. So
seems hard
they
to
started
argue
with that.
Somehow some people do still do that. I don't know.
Well, it's happening, isn't it?
Yes.
It's happening. Yeah. But I think the point is that the vast majority of people can agree on that, and that we have to think about how to leverage that force, right? And there are people who are reluctant, right? So sometimes you find the groups form, and there are town leaders who would just kind of rather do nothing, but when asked, they can't really say no. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, true.
They can't really say no. And then there are people who are looking for an opportunity. I think there are leaders who are looking for an opportunity and want to do this work and need citizen resident action to push them on. And I think that's that idea of like pushing, like how can we push and pull in at the same time, right? How can we like speak truth to power and gather power as part of our force?